All right, before I begin, can I just get a show of hands from the audience? How many of you use Wikipedia on a relatively frequent basis? Yeah, come on. Awesome, right? A good many of you. Well, you're not alone. Wikipedia.org is the 6th most popular website in the world in terms of daily page views and visitors, and it is the most popular reference website. And this isn't just for the English-speaking world. People all over the world use Wikipedia. and it's available in more than 280 languages. In fact, if you take a look at this image from Alexa.com, what you're seeing is that the second largest visitor population in Wikipedia comes from India at 8.8%. And English language Wikipedia is huge. It has almost 4.5 million articles, and that's a really abstract number. So I'd like to show you some images just to really illustrate this. If you take a look at the graph on the top there, what that is showing you is the number of encyclopedic articles on Encyclopedia Britannica Online compared to the number of articles on English language Wikipedia. We can see that English language Wikipedia has exponentially more articles. And because I really want to hammer this point home, I'd like you to take a look at that bottom image there. Now, what you're seeing is that if we were to print out English language Wikipedia into encyclopedic volumes, it would be equivalent to 1,907 volumes of Encyclopedia Britannica. That is a huge amount of knowledge. Look how small that guy is. And while English language Wikipedia is the largest of the Wikipedia projects, other language projects have grown to significant size as well, and not just the European languages. What this graph here is showing you is that in the top 30 Wikipedia language projects, at least 9 could be considered languages from a developing country. But considering the proliferation of European languages all across the world, this doesn't even begin to show us the participation of non-Western peoples in Wikipedia. So why am I telling you all of this? I'm telling you all of this because I'd like us to spend some time today really reevaluating what we know about Wikipedia and where we stand on it. And the first step in that is really gaining insight into how massive and widely used the encyclopedia is. Because people all over the world use Wikipedia, but we in the West tend to have a very peculiar relationship with it, right? Take me, for example. If I'm trying to win an argument with my mom, I'm all over Wikipedia. I'm looking things up, I'm fact-checking. But if I'm trying to write an article for one of my university courses, Wikipedia is the last place I'm going to start looking for information, right? And that's sort of characteristic of the relationship that we have with the encyclopedia. Most of us use it in our day-to-day lives, but the majority of us would be hard-pressed to admit that we used it to learn about something important like politics or health information. And for those of us that are academics and students, man, we know we're totally discouraged from using it in an academic setting. But you gotta wonder, are those of us that vilify Wikipedia sort of missing the point of the entire project? You know what? Wikipedia is not trying to weasel its way into academia and steal our hard-earned reference thunder. It's really not. The purpose of the Wikipedia project is to bring free access to knowledge to every single person on this planet. And if you really think about that, thank you. And if you really think about that, that makes Wikipedia an unprecedented technology, right? The majority of people in the world do not have free or easy access to information. And I mean, scholarly journals, research articles, library books, we have to pay to access those. And man, as a university student, we pay out the nose to access academic journals. And we only get it for the duration of our studies. And you know what? This is sort of how it's always been. Throughout human history and across human cultures, access to knowledge has only been available to a small faction of society. Philosophers, scholars, academics, holy men, scientists. And you know what? This group is often seen as one of being the only groups who has the legitimacy to produce new knowledge. And this is why Wikipedia is so fantastically interesting to me, because I think it's fundamentally changing the way that we interact with knowledge. sorry. It's fundamentally changing the way that we interact with knowledge. Oh, sorry. Right. It's fundamentally, thank you guys. And that's it, I'll be fine for the rest of it. It's fundamentally changing the way that we interact with knowledge. I mean, it's essentially written by laymen, non-experts, and yet its use has become so normalized and so ubiquitous that you'd be hard-pressed to find somebody who didn't routinely use Wikipedia. It's so easy. You just search it up on Google, it's one of the first results. In fact, chances are when you told people that you Googled something, you didn't actually find the answer on Google. Google sent you to Wikipedia. You Wikipedia'd it. I got involved-ish. I'm on a time limit here. I got involved with Wikipedia about a year ago when I was doing an internship in Bangalore, India. And while I was there, I had the privilege to work closely with a couple editors from the editing community there. I became so interested in the structure and function of Wikipedia that I decided to do my undergraduate research on how female Indian editors interact with the editing of Wikipedia and with other editors. Well, my thesis is hopefully forthcoming. The research has really helped me to understand how the editing of Wikipedia takes place. I learned that it's not edited anonymously or randomly, but instead the majority of content is created by a relatively small group of volunteers who are highly dedicated to making sure that the information on Wikipedia is well-sourced, well-researched, and of high quality. What was more interesting and significant for me, however, was how it was being perceived and how it was being used throughout India. When I was doing my research, one of my research subjects pointed out to me that Wikipedia was the only freely open and accessible knowledge repository available to the average citizen. And you know what? People were capitalizing on it as an educational tool. All across India, people were running editing workshops in colleges and universities to try to engage academics and students. There was even work being done on Wiki Project Offline Wikipedia for Indian schools, a project that aims to collect a wide variety of Wikipedia articles so they can then be printed and used as an offline resource at the primary, secondary, and even the post-secondary level. Further, 3 universities in the Indian city of Pune were chosen to take place in the Indian Educational Program of 2011, one of the very first projects in the world that tried to integrate the editing of Wikipedia into a university curriculum. Similar projects have actually taken place all over the world, including the USA and even Canada. So Wikipedia is pretty cool, right? And it's being used in these really cool and interesting ways, but we wouldn't be reevaluating Wikipedia if we only looked at its great sides, right? And whenever I tell somebody that I think Wikipedia's got a little bit of a problem, the response I always get is, "Ha! I knew it! It's totally unreliable, right?" Actually, a lot of research has been done on the content of English language Wikipedia over the last couple of years, and the majority have found the content on English language Wikipedia is actually extremely accurate. In fact, a team of medical researchers recently proposed that the health information on Wikipedia is almost as accurate as college-level textbooks. So the problem I have with Wikipedia isn't related to its reliability or its verifiability or even its accuracy, but to something that I consider to be more subtle and serious, and that is its systemic bias. Did you know that on Wikipedia, there's more information about the video game and novel franchise Warcraft, also known as World of Warcraft, than there is about the African country of Eritrea? Did you know that there's a detailed episode recap for every single episode of the TV show Sopranos, but that the TV show Will and Grace, which ran at the same time, only has a handful of episode recaps? And this is my personal favorite. Did you know that the biography of fictional character Charlie Harper used to be a main protagonist on the CBS sitcom 2.5 Men? Well, his biography is almost twice as long as the biography of Emily Murphy, a real-life woman and probably one of Canada's most famous suffragettes. And you're laughing, because it's funny, but it's also really concerning. And I think I'd like to spend the next couple of minutes going through some images that is really going to help to illustrate what the bias on Wikipedia looks like. And the first image I'd like to start with is an image of biographies, because I think biographies are a really useful tool for gauging what can be considered important and interesting information and stories and perspectives in a certain context. So let's take a look at the biographies on Wikipedia. Now what this is showing you is the distribution of biographies by location. So articles that are geographically linked to a certain location. So if you take a look at that map on the very top right, what that is showing you is that the biographies on Wikipedia of people that lived in the 15th century, the majority are significant to Europe. And we can see that this continues throughout the years, that even in the 21st century, the majority of biographies on Wikipedia are about people who are mostly significant to the USA and Europe. Now, what this second image is showing you is that this is the distribution of Wikipedia articles by country and continent. So we can see that the information on Wikipedia that's about the USA takes up a huge amount of space. In fact, you could put all of the information about South and Latin America, Oceania, Asia, and Africa all within that block for the USA. Now that's an incredible disparity of information. Imagine how much information would be on Wikipedia if every country in the world received that kind of coverage. Now this third image is a bit difficult sometimes, so stick with me. What this is showing you is the distribution of the number of editors that are contributing to articles that are geographically linked. So what that means is that in the pink and yellow areas, more editors are contributing to the articles that are pertinent to these places, which means that these articles are better researched, there's more information, they're of higher quality, etc. And we can see that it's really highly skewed towards West Europe and the USA again. So how does this happen? Well, the first thing we need to know is that nobody gets paid to edit Wikipedia. People volunteer to edit Wikipedia, and when people volunteer for something, they usually do it because they're interested in it, or they know something about it, or both. So when people edit Wikipedia, they write about something they're interested in, they know about, or both. And therefore, Wikipedia is the sum of its editor population. And this population is majority male, Western, middle class, well-educated, techie, and somewhat between the ages of 15 to 49. And the content on Wikipedia, therefore, reflects the perspectives and interests of this population, naturally. And it doesn't just manifest in a Western, non-Western divide either. In fact, coverage on English language Wikipedia of female-centric topics and female women is almost entirely missing, probably because only 1 in 10 editors identify as women. So, Wikipedia is not perfect. It has a systemic bias in its content. But I don't think that this is the fault of its editors or the fault of Wikipedia. It just happens to be an issue with online collaborative knowledge repositories. It's just an issue with the infrastructure and the way they get created. And therefore, the answer is simple. We just got to encourage more people to edit, right? Easier said than done. In fact, the editor population has been decreasing over the last couple of years. What this graph is showing you is the number of editors across all of the language projects, which has been decreasing since 2007. But editorship on English language Wikipedia in particular has been decreasing since 2006. Now, there are a couple of theories as to why this is happening. But in my own opinion, I think that Wikipedia has reached the edge of what it can do to encourage more editors within its own spaces. And what that means is that I just don't think that having an edit button on an article is enough. Wikipedia needs partnerships. It needs visibility within and collaboration with groups whose activities and goals are similar. And fortunately, these partnerships are being built. All across the world, Wikipedians are working with libraries and librarians, galleries, archives, museums, researchers, even civil society groups, to try to promote the incredible benefits of Wikipedia as a research tool. But there's one partnership that I think would make all the difference, and it's so far been the hardest to build, and that is between Wikipedia and academia. I mean, Wikipedia just has a bad reputation in the academic world, especially in the West. And there's a downside to this vilification. Because when students, researchers, and academics, who are seen as the traditional holders of knowledge, when we vilify Wikipedia, we position ourselves as the gatekeepers and adjudicators of knowledge. We tell people that certain types of knowledge are more legitimate than others, and that access to that knowledge should be closed and restricted to only a certain few. And this gives Wikipedia a really bad reputation in the public. People don't want to read it. People don't want to edit it. And there's a downside to this because it makes it really, really difficult for us to overcome Wikipedia's real problems, like a small and homogeneous editor population. Imagine what Wikipedia would be if academics were to actively engage with and support the Wikipedia project. Imagine the breadth of knowledge that would be made available to anybody with an internet access if scholars were to make their research free and easily accessible to editors, or if students were encouraged to edit Wikipedia as part of their scholarly assignments. So what have we learned about Wikipedia today? We learned that it's big. I mean big. And we've learned that people across the world are not only using it as a source of knowledge, but as an academic tool as well. And therein lies the rub. If non-Western peoples are using predominantly Western information to learn about the worlds around them, whose world are they really learning about? Whose perspectives are they going to end up seeing the world through? And more importantly, what are they going to be learning about themselves? That their cultures, their traditions, their societies, their politics, their beliefs are less important than ours? Or worse, that they don't even exist? And I don't have the answer to these questions. But I do know that there are things that we can do to make sure we never have to find out. Wikipedia's systemic bias will never be overcome if more people don't edit Wikipedia. So I will encourage each and every one of you, and I can see you guys, I will encourage each and every one of you today, the next time you're on Wikipedia, to push that edit button when you think there's something wrong or there's something missing. Just add a sentence. Just add a word. It makes a big difference. If you're an educator, think about how the wiki structure could be a really useful educational tool. The classrooms and the lecture halls are changing. More and more people across the world are recognizing the benefits of more collaborative student-to-student learning strategies, and Wikipedia could be a really interesting tool to introduce this to students. Lastly, Wikipedia will never reach its full potential if we continue to denounce it and treat it like it's some dirty secret that all of us have but we can't talk about in public. We need to challenge its bad reputation. We need to tell each other that we edit Wikipedia, and we need to be proud of it. Because we should be proud to have learned something from the world's largest freely open and online knowledge repository, a technology that is literally changing how people come to know things and how we interact with knowledge as humans. Because it's about time we stop treating knowledge like it was a privilege or something to be earned. If education is a human right, then knowledge is a human right. And I believe that it's our responsibility as academics and educators to make sure that online collaborative knowledge projects like Wikipedia reach their full potential. Thank you.